Welcome to another episode of Cooking with Clinton, and I hope you're having a good weekend so far. Also, happy Thanksgiving. And so, first things first, we're prepping some of our ingredients. I'm currently washing my tomatoes and some fresh peppers that I'll be using for the stew. So, just stand by and observe. Personally, I prefer using hot water to wash my tomatoes and fresh peppers, but feel free to use any temperature you're comfortable with. Next step would be slicing my fresh peppers. So once I'm done with my fresh peppers, I reserve some for blending. So next step, I'm blending my tomatoes and I'm also gonna add some fresh peppers to that. So I got my first set of blended tomatoes. I'm just gonna get a can and I was gonna keep them in the pot, but that was not, I need to use the pot. So I got a can. I'm gonna keep them in the can first, and then I'm gonna move on to the second set of tomatoes I have to blend. For my final set of tomatoes, I also added a whole onion. I just include the onion to the blend, and that's it. And my next step is to include another onion. So this one I'm going to be slicing it to include it to the previously sliced peppers I have. Here is our sliced peppers and our sliced onions, and we're ready to move on to the next step. So for me, the next step would be to get my meat sauce. And in order to get my meat sauce, we have to cook the meat. So my next step would be cooking the meat. So I got my chicken, I got some pork, and I'm just gonna combine both of them and we're gonna move from there. As usual, just washing the meat with some warm water and just transferring them to my pot for some cooking and adding some spice. So yeah. So now we're gonna add some spice. First spice, we add in the salt. Just keep adding till your ancestor tells you to stop, okay? And then next on the list, we have our thyme leaf. We're just gonna keep going till your ancestors say stop. And next, rosemary. You know her. You know the measurements already, so keep going. And the last one is a Maggi cube, Magg with an I. Okay, we got the Maggi, and add as much as you feel like. Okay, do not do that. But personally, for my meat, I use a minimum of four, a maximum of six, depending on quantity. So, yeah. Now we're going to proceed to massaging the meat. I repeat, massage the meat. I did not say beat the meat, okay? Anyways, yeah, just gonna make sure like every ingredient is in there and massage it as long as you want till you feel that everything is evenly spread out throughout the pot. Lastly, we're gonna add some curry and just put as much as you already know it, and you're gonna beat the meat. Sorry, massage the meat. Okay, you're gonna massage it and like before till it's evenly, you know, spread out, and we're ready to cook the meat. So yeah. Our meat is cooked and we're ready to put it into the oven so we can get the crispy effect. We want our meat to be, not too soft. So just set your oven and put it in there and. Next thing I have to do is boil my shrimps. After boiling, I just filter it and keep it aside. while I get ready to do the whole frying of the stew. So now I'm just gonna put some oil in my pot and wait for it to, get it hot enough for me to be able to fry the sliced ingredients. So I actually tested the oil to see if it's hot enough by throwing in some onion. And once I feel it's hot enough, I'm just gonna put in everything. Add some frying, I just keep stirring the pot and stirring. And then I add my shrimps and I continue stirring to make sure everything is getting some oil and getting fried properly. And then close, leave for a couple of minutes. And so I added some spice for taste of the fry. I added some salt, some rosemary, some thyme, and of course some Maggi, some Maggi. Once done with adding the spice, I just stir and then let it fry. Let it fry for a couple of minutes and we proceed to the next step. The next step is to add your blended tomato sauce. So just stir one more time. I have my blended tomato sauce and we're just gonna add it into the pot. And we also have tomato paste. Include that as much as you have or as much as you want. And just include both of that, and then we're gonna stir and let it cook. Let it cook. Do you understand the words coming out of my mouth? We're gonna quickly add our meat sauce. You don't need to use all of it. I don't use all of it, so I use some of it, and then we're gonna do what again? Let it cook. Repeat after me. Let it cook. Moving on to our coconut rice. I was gonna add some meat sauce, but then I remembered I had curry in that, and I don't want my coconut rice looking green, so I did not proceed with that. First things first, after for your coconut rice, you have to parboil the rice, and I happen to have some coconut milk and a canned coconut paste. So once you parboil the rice, you're gonna add both your coconut paste and your coconut milk. So proceed. You can add as much as you can. Use the full can if you want. The quantity depends on the amount of rice you have. So yeah, and you're just gonna have to mix. You have to mix it. Ensure the entire pot is mixed properly because you don't want some part be coconut rice and some part be white rice. So we're gonna add some salt, add some water, and mix again. Mix till you feel it's evenly spread out, and add that's our coconut milk, and add more water, and then you boil. So yeah. For the rest of the rice, I had to slice some extra peppers. I just slice the peppers, put it in, put some Maggi, I mix it, and then I taste the rice to see if it has enough salt or Maggi. And if not, I add a little more salt and a little more Maggi. And then I mix it again. I taste it, and you know, there's a specific taste you want. You want the rice to have some tang to it, and just add some salt, some Maggi, and the peppers, and just add as much water as you feel is needed to complete the boiling of the rice. And that should be all for the coconut rice. Thank you. And we're slowly gonna go back to our stew now. You can see the stew is it's almost there. So just have to do some finishing touch. And for our finishing touches, I hope you remember these guys. So we're just gonna add our meat inside the stew after you've gotten them out of the oven. Just put them into the stew, and we're gonna let the stew cook for a bit. And we're You can add one more ingredient, personally for me, which I did. I add a little bit more curry. I just added it because I realized I didn't add before. So I added some. And then I just let it cook. And we have finally approached the end of this cooking session. So if you follow this, I think you should be good for some stew and coconut rice. And here are some. Enjoy.